In every relationship, communication is a cornerstone. It is the bridge that connects partners, allowing them to share their emotions, aspirations, and concerns. Healthy communication fosters understanding, trust, and emotional intimacy, creating a foundation where both individuals can thrive together. However, when communication starts to break down, especially when one partner avoids or brushes off discussions about the relationship, it signals deeper issues at play. If you've noticed that your partner is steering clear of conversations about your relationship or dismissing them quickly, it could be a sign that they are emotionally withdrawing or disengaging from the connection you once shared. In the early stages of a relationship, discussing the future and addressing any concerns about the relationship often comes naturally. Conversations about dreams, challenges, and growth become a way to deepen the emotional bond. But as time goes on, if one partner starts avoiding these important conversations, it raises a red flag. Avoiding discussions about the relationship doesn't just indicate a lack of interest in resolving issues. It can be a sign that your partner may be unsure about the relationship's future or is already emotionally disconnected. There are numerous reasons why someone might avoid talking about their relationship. In some cases, the partner might be dealing with their own internal conflicts, such as dissatisfaction, uncertainty, or emotional exhaustion. They may not be ready to confront their feelings, especially if they feel overwhelmed or fearful of the potential consequences. It's easier, in their mind, to brush things off or avoid talking about it altogether rather than addressing difficult emotions head-on. In other situations, avoiding relationship discussions can be a coping mechanism for those who are emotionally distant or disengaged. If your partner has emotionally checked out of the relationship, they may no longer see the point in talking about its future. The very act of avoiding or deflecting such conversations can reflect their inability or unwillingness to invest the necessary energy to nurture the bond you share. When someone isn't emotionally invested, they often find it easier to deflect conversations rather than confront the emotional work required to make the relationship thrive. This pattern of avoidance can also stem from a fear of confrontation. Many people, especially those who are conflict-averse, avoid relationship discussions because they fear that it will lead to an argument or hurt feelings. They might prefer to ignore the issue rather than risk conflict, even if it means allowing the problem to grow silently in the background. However, while avoiding relationship discussions might be an attempt to protect oneself from emotional discomfort, it can ultimately lead to greater feelings of alienation, frustration, and confusion for the other partner. When a partner refuses to talk about the relationship, it creates a void that can lead to misinterpretations, emotional disconnection, and a lack of clarity about where the relationship stands. This is where communication breakdowns often begin, leaving one partner feeling uncertain, unloved, or even unimportant. It's crucial to recognize the signs of emotional withdrawal early on so that you can address them before they erode the foundation of your relationship. Understanding the reasons behind your partner's avoidance is key to determining how to navigate these conversations with empathy, patience, and honesty. If your partner continues to avoid or dismiss relationship talks, it may be time to evaluate whether both of you are still on the same page and whether the relationship can be nurtured through better communication and emotional understanding. Ignoring these signs for too long can have long-term consequences, so it's important to address them thoughtfully and proactively. 1. They avoid eye contact or seem distant. When a partner begins avoiding eye contact or seems distant, it can be a clear indication that they are hiding their true feelings. Eye contact is one of the most powerful ways to connect emotionally with someone. It reflects trust, openness, and comfort. If your partner starts avoiding eye contact, it may signal a shift in their emotional connection with you. This avoidance can stem from feelings of guilt, discomfort, or emotional detachment. Rather than engaging with you directly, they may look away, focus on their phone, or constantly look around the room when you're speaking. This behavior is often subconscious, but it creates a barrier between the two of you. It can make communication feel one-sided, and the distance between both individuals can start to grow. People who are emotionally disconnected or hiding something from their partner tend to withdraw in this way, as it's easier to avoid facing their feelings head-on. The emotional distance can also manifest in their body language. They might physically pull back, creating space between the two of you. Instead of being present in the moment, they may seem preoccupied or lost in their thoughts. This lack of engagement is not necessarily because they no longer care, but it can be a sign that they are struggling with something internally. Perhaps they are unsure of their feelings or unable to communicate what's going on beneath the surface. If eye contact and emotional engagement begin to dwindle, it's important to reflect on the overall dynamics of your relationship. Sometimes, this behavior can indicate unresolved issues, feelings of resentment, or a growing disconnect. It's vital to address these signs with compassion and open communication, as ignoring them may lead to further emotional distance and misunderstanding. 2. They stop sharing details about their day. When your partner stops sharing details about their day, it can be a subtle but telling sign that they are withdrawing emotionally or hiding something from you. Communication is key in any relationship, and sharing small, everyday moments is an important part of building a strong emotional connection. If your partner has been open about their day in the past but suddenly stops doing so, it could suggest that they are shutting down or distancing themselves. When someone is emotionally involved, they often want to share their experiences with their significant other. Whether it's talking about a funny incident at work, a challenging situation they faced, or something new they learned, these details create a sense of intimacy and understanding. If your partner stops talking about these everyday occurrences, it may indicate that they are pulling back from the relationship, either because they feel disconnected or because they no longer see you as a person with whom they can be open. This shift could be caused by several underlying factors. Your partner might be going through something they don't want to discuss, such as stress, personal struggles, or confusion about their feelings. Alternatively, they might be hiding something important, like emotional detachment or even infidelity, and avoiding sharing their day is a way to prevent you from asking probing questions. In some cases, this behavior is a sign of avoidance. By keeping their experiences to themselves, they can maintain a sense of distance and avoid confronting difficult emotions or conversations that may arise if they share too much. This lack of communication can slowly erode the connection between you both, leaving you feeling isolated and uncertain about where you stand in the relationship. It's crucial to address this shift by expressing your feelings and encouraging open dialogue, which can help uncover any underlying issues and restore the intimacy that might be fading. 3. They rarely compliment you anymore. When your partner rarely compliments you anymore, it can be a sign that their feelings towards you are changing, or that they are no longer as emotionally invested in the relationship. Compliments, especially in a romantic relationship, are more than just words. They reflect appreciation, admiration, and affection. When someone is in love or deeply connected with their partner, they naturally express these feelings through compliments, whether it's about physical appearance, achievements, or personality traits. If this behavior shifts and your partner stops giving you compliments, it could indicate that they no longer see you in the same light. Compliments often highlight a person's desire to make their partner feel valued and loved. When this starts to dwindle, it can create a sense of emotional neglect. The absence of compliments may also suggest a lack of motivation to maintain the emotional closeness that once existed in the relationship. There are several reasons why this might happen. One possibility is that your partner may feel comfortable enough in the relationship to stop offering compliments because they no longer feel the need to impress you, as the initial phase of attraction and novelty has worn off. However, when this shift occurs without the development of deeper emotional intimacy, it can make the other partner feel unappreciated and taken for granted. Another possibility is that your partner might be feeling indifferent or disconnected, either due to personal issues, frustration, or even dissatisfaction with the relationship itself. If they no longer find joy in acknowledging your qualities or expressing admiration, it can signify emotional withdrawal or a lack of fulfillment in the connection. While it's important not to judge the situation too harshly, the absence of compliments can be a subtle yet significant indicator that the emotional bond between you is weakening. It's crucial to address this change in behavior through open, honest communication, allowing both partners to express their feelings and understand where things might have shifted. 4. They seem irritated or frustrated for no clear reason. When your partner seems irritated or frustrated without any clear reason, it can be an indication that something deeper is going on beneath the surface. In healthy relationships, it's normal for people to experience moments of frustration or irritability, but when these emotions become frequent and disproportionate to the situation, it often signals unresolved issues or hidden feelings. This unexplained irritation may stem from personal stress, dissatisfaction with the relationship, or feelings that have been suppressed over time. When someone is unhappy or emotionally distant, they may struggle to express their concerns openly, and instead, those feelings manifest as frustration. For example, if your partner is feeling overwhelmed by life's pressures or disconnected from you, they might lash out or become irritated with minor things, which wouldn't typically bother them. Another possibility is that they might feel emotionally unsupported or misunderstood. If they believe their feelings aren't being acknowledged or addressed, their frustration may grow, often without them realizing that it's impacting the relationship. This irritability can make communication difficult, as your partner may not want to open up or may not feel comfortable sharing their emotions with you. Sometimes, the irritation can also be a defense mechanism. If they are hiding their true feelings, whether it's about the relationship, something personal, or an issue they're facing, they might act out in frustration to avoid addressing the root cause. This can create a cycle of tension where one partner becomes increasingly agitated, but neither person is willing or able to confront the real problem. If this behavior becomes a pattern, it can cause a significant emotional divide in the relationship. The lack of communication about the underlying issues can lead to further resentment and misunderstandings. To break this cycle, it's essential to approach the situation with patience and empathy, encouraging open dialogue to uncover the deeper emotions or concerns that might be causing this unexplained irritation. 5. They don't engage in deep conversations like they used to. When your partner no longer engages in deep conversations like they once did, it can signal a growing emotional distance between you both. Deep, meaningful conversations are an essential part of a healthy relationship, as they foster emotional intimacy and understanding. When these conversations become less frequent or stop altogether, it may indicate that your partner is withdrawing or no longer feels as connected to you as they did before. In the beginning stages of a relationship, sharing personal thoughts, dreams, fears, and experiences often strengthens the bond between two people. However, if your partner stops participating in these kinds of discussions, it can lead to feelings of isolation for the other person. It's possible that your partner is struggling with something internally, whether it's related to the relationship, personal issues, or other aspects of their life, and they may not be ready or willing to open up about it. The absence of deep conversations could be a way for them to avoid addressing difficult feelings or to prevent vulnerability. This shift in communication might also reflect a loss of interest in maintaining a close emotional connection. If your partner no longer seems eager to talk about things that matter to you both, or if they brush off conversations that were once meaningful, it could indicate that they're emotionally disengaging. In some cases, it could even suggest that they have grown disinterested in the relationship itself, though they may not want to explicitly acknowledge it. The lack of deep conversation can also be a sign of emotional fatigue. If your partner has been feeling overwhelmed or disconnected, they might not have the energy or desire to engage in emotionally intense discussions. Over time, this pattern of avoidance can erode the closeness and understanding that once existed, leaving both partners feeling distant and misunderstood. To address this issue, it's important to gently express your concerns and create a safe space for your partner to open up. Encouraging honest, heartfelt communication can help you both reconnect and understand the underlying reasons for the change in your dynamic. 6. They cancel plans more often than before. When your partner starts cancelling plans more often than before, it can be a concerning sign that they are losing interest in spending quality time with you or are emotionally withdrawing from the relationship. In the early stages of a relationship, making plans and spending time together is usually a priority. However, if cancellations become a regular occurrence, it may indicate that they are no longer as invested in the relationship or that something else is taking their attention away. There could be a number of reasons why your partner might be cancelling plans. They may be dealing with personal issues, such as stress at work, family concerns, or mental health challenges, and they may need space to process those feelings. However, when these cancellations happen repeatedly, it's hard to ignore that something deeper might be at play. If they don't offer clear explanations or seem uninterested in rescheduling, it can make you feel unimportant or like your time together isn't a priority. In some cases, this behavior could be a sign that your partner is avoiding the relationship or the emotional closeness that comes with spending time together. They may feel uncomfortable or distant, and rather than confronting the issue, they resort to cancelling plans as a way to maintain emotional distance. This avoidance can also be linked to a fear of confrontation or discussing feelings that may be difficult or painful to address. When cancellations occur more frequently, it can cause frustration and confusion for the other person, especially if it's unclear why your partner is pulling away. This behavior, if left unaddressed, can lead to a sense of disconnection, where one partner feels neglected and unsure about the future of the relationship. To resolve this, it's crucial to have an open and honest conversation about the cancellations and the underlying reasons. By doing so, you can gain insight into their emotional state and work together to rebuild the bond that may have been affected by the lack of quality time. 7. They don't initiate physical affection or intimacy. When your partner stops initiating physical affection or intimacy, it can be a significant sign of emotional disconnection or changing feelings in the relationship. Physical affection, whether it's holding hands, hugging, kissing, or more intimate gestures, plays a crucial role in maintaining closeness and emotional intimacy between partners. These acts are a way to express love, care, and desire. And when they become scarce, it can leave the other person feeling rejected or unwanted. There are various reasons why someone might stop initiating physical affection. It could stem from stress, anxiety, or personal struggles that are making it difficult for them to be emotionally present or physically engaged in the relationship. Sometimes people pull back when they feel emotionally disconnected, as they may not feel comfortable being vulnerable or intimate. In other cases, it could be a sign of dissatisfaction with the relationship, where the partner may be emotionally withdrawing but doesn't know how to communicate their feelings directly. Another possibility is that your partner may feel hurt or neglected, and as a result, stops initiating affection as a form of self-protection or frustration. If there has been unresolved conflict or a lack of emotional support, they may stop reaching out for physical closeness as a way to cope with their feelings. In some situations, this behavior could also suggest a loss of attraction, either physically or emotionally, which may stem from underlying dissatisfaction. The lack of physical affection can create a sense of emotional distance, where both partners may feel isolated despite being in the same relationship. Intimacy is a fundamental part of a romantic connection, and without it, the relationship can begin to feel more like a friendship or even a roommate situation. To address this issue, it's important to have an honest conversation about how both partners are feeling and what might be causing the lack of intimacy. Opening up about emotions and concerns can help create an environment where both partners feel comfortable expressing their needs and working together to rebuild the physical and emotional closeness in the relationship. 8. They seem emotionally distant, even when you're together. When your partner seems emotionally distant, even when you're physically together, it can be a strong indicator that they are withdrawing from the relationship on a deeper level. Emotional distance doesn't necessarily mean that they are physically absent, but rather that they are no longer engaging or connecting with you in a meaningful way. Even though you may still share the same space, their lack of emotional presence can create an overwhelming sense of isolation for the other person. This emotional distance may manifest in various ways. Your partner might be physically present, but they seem distracted, disengaged, or uninterested in conversation or shared activities. You may notice that they no longer show the same level of enthusiasm or affection, and their responses may feel detached or indifferent. They might avoid eye contact, give short answers, or seem lost in their own thoughts, as if they are mentally or emotionally somewhere else. There are many potential reasons why someone might become emotionally distant. They could be experiencing stress, anxiety, or personal struggles that they don't feel comfortable sharing with you. Sometimes people withdraw when they feel overwhelmed or unable to cope with the emotions they are dealing with. Alternatively, emotional distance can result from unresolved conflicts or dissatisfaction with the relationship. If there is tension or unspoken resentment, it can cause a partner to emotionally retreat as a defense mechanism. This emotional detachment can be incredibly painful for the other person, as it may feel like their partner is no longer interested or invested in the relationship. It can lead to feelings of confusion, loneliness, and rejection, even when you're physically together. Addressing this emotional distance requires open and honest communication. It's important to create a safe space where both partners feel comfortable expressing their feelings and concerns. If your partner is willing to talk, it may reveal underlying issues that need to be addressed in order to restore emotional closeness. If not, it may be necessary to explore why they are pulling away and whether the relationship can be repaired or if it's time to consider other options. 9. They spend more time on their phone, avoiding real conversations. When your partner starts spending more time on their phone, avoiding real conversations, it can be a sign that they are withdrawing emotionally or becoming disengaged from the relationship. In today's digital age, phones are often a source of entertainment, distraction, or even an escape. However, when this behavior becomes excessive and starts to interfere with meaningful interactions, it may indicate a deeper issue. The constant focus on their phone, whether it's scrolling through social media, texting, or playing games, can suggest that your partner is avoiding meaningful conversations. Instead of engaging with you and sharing thoughts, feelings, or experiences, they may prefer the distractions their phone provides. This shift in attention can leave you feeling neglected, unimportant, or like you're competing for their focus. There could be a few reasons for this behavior. One possibility is that your partner is emotionally distant or dissatisfied with the relationship and, as a result, seeks solace in their phone as a way to fill the emotional gap. If they're not ready to confront their feelings or communicate openly with you, they may use the phone as a way to avoid difficult conversations. Another reason might be that they're going through something personal that they don't feel comfortable discussing yet, whether it's stress, insecurities, or external pressures. In such cases, they may retreat into the virtual world of their phone because it offers a sense of control or comfort, even if it means ignoring the person they should be connecting with the most. This behavior can create a divide in the relationship, as communication is a fundamental part of building intimacy and trust. When one partner withdraws into their phone, it can make the other feel neglected or invisible, especially if they are trying to have meaningful conversations or connect emotionally. It can also lead to misunderstandings, where one partner feels frustrated by the lack of communication, while the other remains absorbed in their digital world. To address this, it's important to have an open discussion about the impact this behavior is having on your relationship. Setting aside time to be present with one another and reducing phone distractions during quality time together can help rebuild the connection and make both partners feel valued and heard. 10. They frequently talk about their single life or past relationships. When your partner frequently talks about their single life or past relationships, It can indicate that they are not fully emotionally invested in the present relationship, or they might be struggling with unresolved feelings from the past. Constantly bringing up their time before the relationship or their former partners can create feelings of insecurity, doubt, or confusion, as it may seem like they are comparing you to someone else or nostalgic for a time when they were independent. Talking about a past relationship in an occasional or reflective way is normal, especially when the relationship is still fresh or if the partner is trying to explain something important about their past. However, when the mention of their single life or ex-partners becomes frequent, it can be a sign of emotional disconnection or an inability to fully move forward. It may feel as though they are still emotionally attached to their past, preventing them from investing in the current relationship. In some cases, this could be a sign of dissatisfaction or regret. If your partner frequently compares the present relationship to their past experiences, it could suggest that they feel something is missing or are not as content as they let on. These comparisons can also cause self-doubt, making you wonder whether you're truly appreciated or if you're constantly being held up to a previous ideal. Frequent references to past relationships or single life might also signal a fear of commitment. Your partner may be hesitant to fully invest emotionally, and bringing up the past might be a way for them to keep their options open or maintain a sense of independence. It could be that they are uncertain about their feelings or are afraid of losing their personal identity in the relationship. Additionally, if they are constantly talking about their past relationships, it can create unnecessary tension and insecurity for the other person. The focus should be on building the current relationship, not on lingering attachments to what came before. Addressing this issue requires a conversation about how these constant mentions make you feel. It's important to express that while it's natural to talk about the past from time to time, excessive discussion of previous relationships can create distance and cause emotional pain. By opening up the lines of communication, you can both work towards strengthening the relationship and ensuring that both partners feel valued in the present. 11. They stop making future plans together. When your partner stops making future plans with you, it can be one of the clearest signs that they are emotionally detaching or no longer see the relationship as something long-term. In healthy relationships, making plans for the future is a way of expressing commitment, shared goals, and a vision for growing together. Whether it's planning a vacation, discussing living arrangements, or talking about long-term dreams, planning for the future signifies an emotional investment in the relationship. If your partner suddenly avoids making plans for the future or seems uninterested in discussing where the relationship is headed, it can lead to feelings of uncertainty and anxiety. It may feel as though they are pulling away or are unsure about the direction they want the relationship to go in. When these plans start to disappear, it often signals a lack of intention or interest in growing the relationship. There could be a few reasons for this shift. Your partner might be experiencing doubts or fears about the relationship that they aren't ready to address. They could be struggling with their own personal issues or uncertainties about their future that prevent them from thinking about long-term commitments. Alternatively, they may already have one foot out the door, feeling that the relationship isn't meeting their needs or expectations. This behavior can also indicate a lack of emotional connection or a change in priorities. If they no longer see a future together, they may stop discussing or even avoiding topics related to long-term plans. This emotional distance can leave the other partner feeling ignored or uncertain about their place in the relationship. The lack of future planning can also create a sense of instability in the relationship, making it harder to envision a shared life together. This can lead to feelings of frustration, hurt, and confusion, especially if one partner is still fully invested in the idea of a future together, while the other is not. To address this issue, it's essential to have an open conversation about the future and what both partners want from the relationship. Understanding each other's goals and intentions can clarify whether the relationship is moving in the same direction, or if there are unresolved issues that need to be addressed before making future plans. 12. They become defensive when you ask about their feelings. When your partner becomes defensive every time you ask about their feelings, it can be a sign that they are uncomfortable opening up emotionally, or may not feel safe sharing their true thoughts and emotions with you. This defensive reaction often comes across as irritation, avoidance, or even anger, and it can make you feel like your attempts to communicate or connect are being rejected. Defensiveness can stem from several sources. One possibility is that your partner may be struggling with their own emotions but doesn't know how to express them. They might feel vulnerable or insecure, and instead of confronting those feelings, they react defensively as a form of self-protection. If they feel like you're probing too deeply into sensitive areas or pushing them to talk about something they're not ready to discuss, they might put up emotional walls to prevent you from getting too close. Another reason for this defensive behavior could be that they feel judged or misunderstood. If past conversations about their feelings have led to arguments, criticisms, or misunderstandings, they may have learned to shut down or react defensively when the topic comes up again. This can create a pattern where they avoid or deflect any conversation that requires emotional vulnerability, even if your intent is not to criticize, but simply to connect. In some cases, defensiveness might also signal deeper relationship issues, such as a lack of trust, dissatisfaction, or emotional distance. If your partner feels like their feelings are constantly invalidated, or that their emotions are not being taken seriously, they may begin to retreat emotionally and defend themselves against further emotional exposure. This behavior can create a communication barrier between the two of you, as it makes it difficult to have honest, open conversations about feelings. It can leave the other partner feeling frustrated, rejected, or unheard, and can lead to misunderstandings or feelings of disconnect in the relationship. To address defensiveness, it's important to approach the conversation with empathy and patience. Creating a safe, non-judgmental space where your partner feels comfortable expressing themselves can help break down these emotional walls. Instead of asking direct or probing questions, try gently encouraging them to share their thoughts at their own pace, showing understanding and support for their feelings. If defensiveness continues, it may be necessary to explore the deeper issues behind it and work together on rebuilding trust and communication in the relationship. 13. They ignore or downplay your emotional needs. When your partner consistently ignores or downplays your emotional needs, it can be a significant indicator that they are not fully attuned to or invested in your emotional well-being. Emotional needs like feeling valued, understood, and supported are essential for maintaining a healthy and connected relationship. When these needs are ignored, it can leave you feeling neglected, unimportant, or emotionally disconnected from your partner. One reason for this behavior could be that your partner may not fully understand or recognize the importance of emotional intimacy. They may assume that love and affection can be shown through other actions, like physical touch or practical support, but fail to realize that emotional needs require verbal reassurance, active listening, and empathy. In some cases, they might not have the tools or emotional intelligence to handle these deeper aspects of a relationship. Another possibility is that your partner might be emotionally unavailable. They could be dealing with their own personal struggles, stress, or emotional issues, and as a result, they may have trouble being there for you emotionally. When they downplay or ignore your emotional needs, it could be because they are overwhelmed or unable to cope with their own emotions, leaving little room for theirs to support yours. Alternatively, this behavior could be a sign of emotional neglect, where your partner prioritizes their own needs or desires over yours. This can create an imbalance in the relationship, where one partner feels as though they are constantly giving or seeking emotional support, while the other is indifferent or dismissive. Over time, this can lead to frustration, resentment, and a growing emotional distance. When your emotional needs are dismissed or overlooked, it can also damage your self-esteem, making you question whether you're deserving of care and attention. It can create a sense of emotional loneliness, where you're physically present with your partner, but feel emotionally isolated. Addressing this issue requires an open conversation about how you feel and the importance of emotional support in your relationship. Expressing your needs in a non-confrontational way and encouraging your partner to listen with empathy can help bridge the gap. It's also important to understand whether your partner is aware of their behavior and if they are willing to make an effort to improve how they meet your emotional needs. If the pattern continues, it may be necessary to assess the overall emotional health of the relationship and determine whether both partners are equally invested in fostering emotional closeness. 14. They show signs of jealousy less frequently. When your partner shows signs of jealousy less frequently, it can be a confusing and potentially concerning shift in behavior. In many relationships, a little bit of jealousy can indicate that someone cares deeply about their partner and is invested in the relationship. However, a sudden decrease in jealousy might suggest that your partner is emotionally disengaging or no longer feels strongly about the relationship. One possible explanation for this change is that your partner might be becoming more comfortable with the idea of separation or emotional detachment. While jealousy can often be a sign of possessiveness, when it fades completely, it might indicate that they no longer feel threatened by outside influences or are less concerned with maintaining emotional exclusivity. This lack of jealousy could stem from a decreased emotional investment, where they simply don't see the need to compete for your attention or affection anymore. Another reason for the decrease in jealousy could be that your partner has already mentally checked out of the relationship. They may feel that they have already distanced themselves emotionally, so they no longer feel threatened by other people or situations that once would have caused insecurity. Essentially, the absence of jealousy can be an outward sign of emotional apathy, where your partner is no longer invested in fighting for the relationship. In some cases, a decrease in jealousy might stem from a shift in trust or an understanding of personal boundaries. If your partner has worked on themselves, or the relationship has reached a more secure stage, they may feel more confident in the connection you share and less likely to react with jealousy. This could be a positive change, indicating a growing sense of security in the relationship. However, if the decrease in jealousy is accompanied by other signs of emotional distance or neglect, it could be a red flag that your partner is pulling away. It's important to assess the context in which this shift occurs. If the relationship has gone through significant changes, such as one partner becoming more independent or emotionally distant, the reduction in jealousy could simply be a byproduct of those changes. On the other hand, if the lack of jealousy feels like part of a pattern of detachment or disinterest, it may be a sign that your partner is no longer as emotionally invested in the relationship as they once were. To address this concern, it's crucial to have an open conversation about what jealousy means to both of you and whether the decrease in jealousy signifies a deeper emotional shift. Understanding each other's needs and emotional boundaries can help clarify whether this change is something positive or a signal of growing distance. 15. They avoid talking about your relationship or brush it off quickly. When your partner avoids talking about the relationship or brushes it off quickly, it can be a strong indication that they are emotionally distancing themselves or are not interested in discussing the future of your connection. Relationships require open communication, and when one partner refuses or avoids addressing relationship matters, it often points to a lack of emotional investment or avoidance of uncomfortable truths. This behavior may stem from a variety of underlying reasons. One possibility is that your partner is feeling uncertain or dissatisfied with the relationship, but is not ready to confront those feelings. Instead of engaging in meaningful conversations about the relationship, they may choose to deflect, avoid, or minimize the importance of addressing these concerns. In doing so, they may hope the issues will resolve themselves, or, conversely, that the relationship will naturally fade away without having to confront the emotional discomfort that comes with these conversations. Another reason for this avoidance could be that your partner is no longer emotionally invested in the relationship. When someone is no longer fully committed or interested, they may shut down conversations about the relationship to prevent further emotional intimacy or to avoid making decisions that could lead to a breakup. By brushing off discussions about the future, they may be signaling that they no longer see the relationship as something worth nurturing. Additionally, this avoidance could be a result of fear or emotional immaturity. Some individuals find it difficult to talk about relationship dynamics because they are afraid of confrontation or the emotional vulnerability that comes with such discussions. They may fear hurting their partner or being confronted with feelings they are not ready to deal with. This behavior can create confusion and frustration for the other partner, as it makes it difficult to gauge where the relationship stands or what the future holds. If your partner consistently refuses to talk about the relationship, it can leave you feeling ignored, dismissed, and uncertain about the emotional connection you share. To address this issue, it's essential to express how you feel and emphasize the importance of having open, honest conversations about the state of your relationship. While it's important to approach the topic with care and sensitivity, having a conversation about the relationship's direction can help clear the air and reveal whether both partners are still on the same page, or if there are deeper issues that need to be addressed. If your partner continues to avoid these discussions, it may be necessary to reassess the level of commitment and communication in the relationship and consider whether it's a healthy environment for both individuals.